All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going through a series of videos that I've created to run through a simple body mass index or BMI calculator that we're doing in several different languages. I'm on the set 7 of 8 different videos, and we're talking about Android app Inventor 2. In the previous in the previous video, we created our interface, which is right here, and I really don't like the way that looks now that I look at it, but we'll work with it. And I started to put in the code. Now, notice I can right mouse click in here and choose Add Comment, and come in here and say inputted height must be between 12 and 96. Come in here and add another comment, and that's inputted weight must be between 1 and 777. And notice that when I do right mouse click on here and choose Add Comment, hopefully what you noticed is this changes here and I get the question mark. So right mouse click, Add Comment, there's the question mark. Holds. Well, I don't know what happened there, but holds the calculated body mass index, also known as BMI. Okay, all right, so I've got all that. The next thing I want to do is I like to kind of get the easy stuff out of the way first. So the easier thing here, as you'd probably guess, is to what happens when you click the calculator button. And there's actually 4 things I want to have happen. I want this image to come back. I want this to be blank. I want this to be blank. And I want this to be blank. So that's what I want. That's what I'm going to do. All right, so that happens when I click my button that's called clear. So when I click the clear button, what do I want to have happen? Well, the first thing I want to have happen is and it doesn't matter the order in which you do these, but my text box for the height, I want to set the text on my text box for the height to nothing, the empty string, which is also right there. Then I want to do it again, so I'm just going to comment. Oops, not comment. Comment. Duplicate. But now instead of height, I want to change that to weight. So that's got both of those blanked out. Then I want to come over to my result, and I want to set the result label text also to blank. Alright, and finally I want to reset the image back to the original image. So I want to say my image, and that's set image picture to, and I've got to give it the name. And the name of that was, we go back here to our designer window, and that was BMIcalculator.ping. This is not case sensitive. All right. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with what I did, but I'd like to make it run, look at least a little better. So I'm going to create a procedure right here that I'm just going to call clear all. And then I'm going to take all that code that I put in here, and I'm going to put it in my procedure. It's a little cleaner way of doing things. But now what happens when I click the button? Nothing. So I have to tell it to call clear all. Okay. So let's put a comment in here. This procedure 1 clears the height text box. 2, clears the weight text box. 3, clears the result label. 4, resets the image to the original BMI calculator image. Okay. And comment when this button is clicked, call the clear all method. Okay, so that's everything. Now we will be able to see, we'll be able to come back to our emulator here. All right, and if we put something, a value into here, and we put a value into here, and we click clear, notice they did clear. That's a good thing. All right, we're not yet changing our image or anything, so that's not going to be affected at all. But what we've done so far is we've created 3 variables. 1 to hold our height, 1 to hold our weight, 1 to hold our BMI. Then we just did the work for when we click the clear button. When we do, we call a routine called clear all, which blanks out the first text box, the one with the height, blanks out the second text box, the one for the weight, blanks out the label, and resets the image. So it blanks out this, 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 and then resets the image to that. Okay? Now, we'll continue on, but the first thing I'd like to do is to go back again to here, and I want to call this, how about skinny person. I actually got so many things open that it's slowing the system down here. So let's look for a skinny person. Kind of like that guy. And we'll save that image as, and we'll just call it skinny. All right. Then let's find a fit person. Like that one, but it doesn't show the head of the guy, so. Oh, it's not bad, so let's try that one. And this will be called fit.jpg. And then finally, let's find an overweight person. Could use cartoons for this, but I didn't, so. Well, I don't know if that guy is fair or not, but how about that one? We don't see a face then. So that will be over. So we had fit, skinny, we'll just call that overweight.jpg. All right, now I'm going to come back to my program, and I'm going to go back to Designer, and I'm going to upload all of those pictures. So I had skinny, and I had fit, and I have overweight. All right, those pictures, one of them is eventually going to go into here. So let's click on all of them now, and let's see what they look like. So skinny will look like this. That works. All right, fit will look like this. That works. And overweight will look like this. Okay, they all work. That's fine. Usually it does a lot of rescaling for you, so it ends up looking pretty doggone nice. I guess I don't like this because it's white and it doesn't really show very well. So let's see if we can find a different. BMI calculator. How about that BMI calculator? That doesn't look bad. Okay, so I can now come in here and remove this. So I'm going to click on here, and for the picture I'm just going to put the none right now. That's okay. And this file I won't need anymore, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to upload again, choose file. There's BMI calculator, open. Okay. And let's now go back and add that in and see if that looks a little nicer. Yeah, I like that better. You may or may not agree, but that's fine the way it is. All right, so now the interface, ideally at least, is built. I'm back to the blocks editor. I've created my variables, and I've done my clear stuff. Now I'm going to take this and do what's called a collapse on it, so it's not taking up as much area on the screen. Okay, and I'm going to bring these over, because what is left to do here, whether you realize it or not, is I have to put in the code now for when the calculate button is clicked. Okay, so that's the next thing to do. All right, so I'm going to do a few other things. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to calculate button. So when the calculate button is clicked, what do I want to do? Well, I'm going to write myself a new routine right in here in just a minute. I'm going to actually write two of them. The first one is going to be called validate height and weight. Okay, so that's all that's in there right now, nothing. But hopefully I can call that from here. And that's what I want to do here. And inside of validate height and weight, I'm going to end up calling another procedure that I'm going to write. And that procedure is going to be called calculate the BMI. Now, I want to be able to set all these variables, so I want to be able to, if I put my mouse there, I want to be able to set my global height here to what? Well, I want to set it to whatever I put into my height text box. So the text that's actually in there. And let's duplicate that. And we will set the weight to, and that should have been height. All right, so I've set my height and I've set my weight. So now I've got to do my BMI. And that's not going to be this. That's an actual formula that we have to do. All right, and that's quite a bit of work because we have to do weight. So let's put this in here. We're going to do a math operation that's eventually going to have in here a division. All right. And what that is going to be, looks a little funky right now, but we're going to have to get the weight and we're going to have to divide that by the height it's going to end up being height times height. So if we look at math, you'll notice that we have this. So we want to get the height by get the height. Right? And actually that's not what we want to raise it by. That's wrong. Throw that in the garbage. We want that to be a 2. So I can go and duplicate that, copy it in there, put that into a 2. Now the problem is we want to take this whole thing here, this whole thing, and we want to multiply that by 703. So I've got to find math, and I've got to find a multiply. All right, then I take this here, no, not there. I think that's right. I want to multiply that then by 703. So that's my formula for a BMI. All right. Then I'm going to take the BMI, the answer that I get, and I want to format it to 2 decimal places. All right. So how do I do that? Well, if I come in here, something is in here that does formatting for me. I don't remember. Well, format is decimal number. That looks good. What do I want to format? Well, I want to format the BMI. And I'm going to format that to 2 decimal places. So that will handle my entire BMI. All right, I'm setting my variable height to whatever was in the text box, weight to whatever was in the text box, and then BMI to weight divided by height squared times 703. And then I format it to 2 decimal places. All right, now I should be able to do 2 things here. First, I want to go back, and these values that I put in here, I want to say numbers only for this and for this. That's going to help because now it's harder for me to screw up on my inputs. Okay, so I've got those done. All right, now I come back in to my blocks editor, and I should write a comment here. All right, this procedure 1 sets the variable height to the value of what's in the height text box. Next, it sets the value weight to the value of what's in the weight text box. Next, it calculates the BMI using the formula weight divided by, we'll just simplify it here, height times height. And that whole thing times 703. And then finally, we format the BMI to the calculated BMI to 2 decimal places. Okay, so Now that that is finished, I can also collapse that and then just worry about calling my validate. Okay, so all this stuff is done. I'm going to move everything over so it's butting up against the edge here. All right, so I want to validate my height and my width. I'm at 20 minutes, so I will come back with one last video on this in just a couple minutes.